Namaste. I am Devat Maharaja and I would like to welcome you all to my YouTube channel called Brahma Gaje, a channel that is devoted to philosophical discourse. Please do not forget to subscribe it and also click on that like button. In this episode, and starting with this episode for about 9 episodes or so, I will try to summarize Srimad Bhagavad Katha that was held here locally in Maryland. The Katha was conducted at a local temple named the Greater Baltimore Temple in Finksburg, Maryland. And the Katha was conducted by the high priest of the temple, Acharya Shri Padmadab Joshi. He also goes by the name Pathik. Each day, at the end of the day, I summarized that day in English, and I was requested that I provide this on my YouTube channel, and therefore here I'm recording it. In this episode, I will summarize the day number 1. On day 1, Panditji started with the idea that there is plenty of dukh, almost endless, but sukh is limited. So dukh, meaning pain, suffering, pestilence, etc., is in abundance, endless supply of it. But sukh, the joy, the happiness, is very limited. And when Panditji said that, I recalled a poetry by Narsi Mehta that sukh to alpache, dukh sagar jasu, janmyo je jantu te janma rogi. Sukh to alpache, dukh sagar jasu, janmyo jantu te janma rogi. In other words, as Panditji also mentioned, sukh, alp, very limited, in short supply. But dukh, like the ocean, endless, so much out there. Any creature that is born with some sort of a defect. In other words, nobody is perfect. That creature will eventually perish for one reason or the other reason, but will perish. So what shall one do? And that is what the Bhagavad Mahapuran talks about, that one shall revive his or her birth and do something greater, so that this life that he or she is given has a meaning, has a purpose. And detach yourself, as we talked about in my introductory episodes, of that karma's consequence, the outcome. And if you shall do this, you will be neutral. Dukh or sukh will not come and bother you. And this is a very hard concept for all of us to practice. But it takes a practice, but it starts with the initiation that I would like to do this. On this day, Panditji talked about the story of bhakti. The devotional worship is what bhakti is. And Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran personifies the bhakti and her 2 sons, Jnana and Vairagya. So bhakti, the devotional worship, Jnana is a son of bhakti, knowledge, Vairagya, detachment. See, knowledge and detachment are the 2 children of devotional worship, bhakti. Amazing concept of Srimad Bhagavad. And the story goes like that one day Devarshi Narad, who is a son of the creator god Brahma, saw Bhakti in a terrible shape. She was extremely old and her 2 sons were also in a very, very bad shape. So he went to Bhakti and said, "What happened to you, mother? Who did this to you?" And Bhakti said, "Well, it's a story of my life. I was born in Dravid region of India, South India. That is the Dravid region. I grew up in Karnataka, again in South India, the state of Karnataka. I was respected in the state of Maharashtra, India, as I grew a little older. But when I went to Gujarat, I became old. And this is where I am, in Gujarat. And look, my two sons are also not able to walk, not able to talk. The Gnan and Vairagya, the knowledge and detachment, have become totally ill. And I myself has become very, very old. Naradji couldn't see this. So Devarshi Narad, the son of Brahma, told Bhakti, Mother, you should not worry about this. I have a cure for you. In the 3 yugas so far, so Satyuga, Treta Yuga, and Dwapar. And again, we'll talk about Yuga on a different episode. But these are the time periods that are really big time periods of the creation. The Satyug, the first one, is in which everything was almost perfect. Treta, there was some corruption of that truth or truthful living. Dwapar, a little bit more corruption. And the 4th Yuga, which is we are in that last Yuga, the Kali Yuga, after which the whole cycle repeats again. The truth is pretty much nullified. Everybody is cheating everybody. It's a bad time period to be in. But this is the last time period, and that's what you are in. So therefore, the Gnan and Vairagya, the knowledge and detachment, nobody cares about anymore. The truth is very limited, and as we all know, misinformation, misconceptions, all that just continue to happen in this time period, in this modern Kali Yuga time period. So Naradji says that was destined. It was supposed to happen. That's why you are in this shape. But I have an answer for you. I have a cure for you. There is this in India. There is this place called Haridwar, and in Haridwar there is this ghat called Ananda Ghat. Go there and you will be revived. So Bhakti with her 2 sons goes to Anand Ghat, worships Lord Vishnu, the maintainer God, and Lord Vishnu revives her and says, in Kali Yuga, the Gnan, the path of knowledge, is very hard for people to follow. The path of Vairagya is also equally hard. But I tell you, Bhakti, the devotional worship, is very easy. And in Kali Yuga, anybody who does the devotional worship shall attain the higher form, the nirvana, the moksha, and attain the truth, the higher truth, very, very easily. And that is what I bestow upon you. And therefore, thus the bhakti was revived. On this day, we also talked about Atmadev and Dhunduli, the story of Gokarna. Srimad Bhagavad Puran talks about Purvakal. In old time, there was this river called Tungabhadra. And near that river, there was this beautiful town. In that town, everybody lived very peacefully. People of all backgrounds lived in harmony. They did their work. Everything was just perfect. And in that town, there was this Brahman. And his name was Atmadev. And Atmadev, the Brahmin, had a wife. Her name was Dhunduli. They lived very happily. They were very wealthy. They were very rich. They were very respected. Things were really, really great. But as Atmadev grew older, he realized that he did not have a son or any children, a daughter. So no daughter, no son, no children whatsoever. And that bothered him very, very much. To a level where he was getting depressed and as the story goes, he came across a sage, and he felt that this sage will have an answer for me, for my suffering, that why don't I have children? Why can't I have children? I want to have children. I want to live a legacy, when I leave this world. So he asked the sage, and the sage said, Atmadev, in your destiny, you do not have children. You will not have children. Just face it. Just live this life very happily and conclude it in happy way. That's it. Don't worry about it. You're not supposed to have children. Yeah. Atmadev was not satisfied. So he held the legs of that sage and said, if you do not give me some answer, give me some way, I am going to kill myself here. But no, I definitely want to have children. The sage was sad seeing him, the Atmadev, in that position. So he said, okay, I give you this fruit, go home, give it to your wife, and you shall have children. But think about it, this is not your destiny. Okay. Atmadev goes home and talks to his wife, Dunduli, and says, Dunduli, here's the fruit that was given to me. Please consume it with respect, and we will have children. That Dunduli, the wife, thinks, oh man, my life was so great. Look at my figure. I'm so pretty. I'm so beautiful. I don't want to have a big belly. I don't want to have a children. I mean, my husband is crazy. He is nuts. Again, this is not our destiny. Let's not worry about it. I just want to enjoy my life and eat whatever I want to eat, do whatever I want to do. I don't want to take care of children. I do not want to have children. But since my husband is insisting and this fruit has been given to me, what should I do? It happened that her sister was there also. And the sister gave an idea. Says, you guys are so rich, you are wealthy, you are billionaires. Do this. I'm about to have a baby. As you know, I'm pregnant. So I can give you my baby so you don't have to carry the labor, and I will stay with you. And we will pretend that you are having a baby, and I'll dress you in such a way and prepare you in such a way that nobody will know. And that's it. Dunduli says, what do I do about the fruit? Well, give it to your cow. Okay. So Dunduli feeds that fruit to the cow that they had. And the time goes by, the sister gives birth to the child is given to Dunduli, and in return, the sister asks, give me some money. Again, we need money and you guys are rich. I gave you my child, you adopt him. Nobody will know. Again, you and I only know that this is actually not your son, and the baby happened to be a boy. So, here it is, give me some money. All right. But at the same time, the cow also had a child. And the child was human. But the ear of the child were like the cow, long, tall. The husband, Atmadev, comes to know about this wonderful event that, hey, finally he has a son. Again, he doesn't know anything, right? The wife had hidden everything from him. So he thinks that this is my son. He names the son Dundukari. But at the same time, he sees that the cow also had a son, a human son, with ear, tall, pointy ear, like the cow. And he was also happy that, hey, I got two sons. So he names him Gokarna. Gokarna means the person whose ears are like the cow. All right. Time goes by, again, to cut the long story short. The Gokarna happens to be a great, renowned philosopher trained by his father. Yet the Dundukari was an ill-fated man. Horrible. Did really, really bad karmas. and to a level where he was stealing from people, he was harassing women and everybody around the town. Eventually, Atmadev passed away in that grief that, hey, my son, one son, this Dhundukari that I had so much confidence on, turned out to be such a bad person. I rather die than have a son like that. And again, he died. And again, he recalled that sage telling him that this was not your destiny. You were not supposed to have children. Maybe I should have listened to him. And he passes away. Dhundukari, after the passing of his father, becomes even worse. He has no money, he works nowhere, he simply does stealing, and now goes to prostitutes and does all kinds of bad karma. He has no money, so he steals from people, gives it to the prostitutes, and just really, really bad karmas all around. And eventually, he brings 3 prostitutes at home to live with him forever, and also kills his own mother, Dunduli. The guy has no money, but how do you survive? You survive by stealing, by harassing people, borrowing money, stealing money, all kinds of things. So the prostitutes thought one day that this guy absolutely does nothing but simply harasses people and takes money and steals money. One day the king's gonna find out and he's gonna punish Dhundukari and also he's gonna punish us. So why don't we do this? We just kill him and take all the money that he has and run away. And that's exactly what they do. They kill the guy, Dhundukari, and go away. Dhundukari, since he died in such a terrible way, became a ghost, a demon. His brother, the son of the cow, the Gokarna, who had become at this point a very learned sage, a very learned philosopher, was out studying, doing good things, happened to return home and realized that his father had passed away. His mother had been killed by his brother, and now his brother, Dhundukari, is also no more. So he feels really, really bad, goes to the old house that was abandoned in a terrible shape, and he says, okay, I will sleep here right now outside of the home, and then I'll think about something to just give tribute to my family who is no more. As he was sleeping that night, all kinds of sounds, bothered him. And there was this ghost that was constantly moving around as if he was restless. Gokarna is a strong sage and sits in the night and says, "Who are you? Show yourself." Dhundukari shows up and says, "I'm your brother and I was killed by the 3 prostitutes. I did terrible deeds during my lifetime. Because of me, my father passed away. I killed our own mother, and eventually I was killed by the same women that I was living with for money, and look, I'm in terrible shape. I don't want to be in this. Please free me from this life of being a ghost. I'm in terrible suffering, terrible pain. Do something. You are the brother. You know so much. You know so much philosophy. You're learned in the Indian scriptures and the way of Sanatana Dharma. Please do something." Gokarna says, absolutely, Dhundukari, I will do this for you. And what he does is he in that town arranges a Bhagavad Saptah. Everybody learned about the Bhagavad Saptah and learned that the great sage, the Gokarna himself has come and he's from this town and he's actually doing the Bhagavad Saptah. So many people showed up. And in that vicinity, there was this bamboo stick which had 7 knots. Dhundukari is a ghost. He's like thin air. So he slowly went into that bamboo stick. As the Katha went, every day, 1 knot became untangled and the sound would come, pum, pum, pum. And eventually all 7 knots became clean or clear, and the bamboo stick split. Dandogari shows up and now is revived. He's no longer a ghost, but a dev, and pays respect to his brother, the great sage Gokarna, and says, Gokarna, thank you so much for reviving me. And the people who were there, who came to listen to this Bhagavad Saptah, says, oh, but how come he got revived and we human beings, he did such a bad things, and we didn't get the same treatment. What happened? What did we do wrong? And Gokarna says, well, he was the only one who listened to the gist, the essence of the Bhagavad Mahapuran, not simply just the stories, and therefore he became enlightened and eventually attained the nirvana, the moksha. You guys, if you do the same, you too will get it. And again, they did the Bhagavad Saptah again, and the others were also revived. So that was really the conclusion of day one as it happened. And this is a short summary of that day. That is all I have for you in this episode. Thank you very much. And stay tuned for the next day's summary. Jai Shri Krishna. Namaste.